Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. In this episode, I want to talk about the Xbox One X launch on November 7th, 2017, and if it's already dead on arrival before it even releases. Whenever you're actually talking about selling an item to a consumer as a business, you have to talk about a value proposition and what your item you're selling actually provides to the consumer who will be paying for it to make sure it's worth it to them. And in this case, I'm going to look at the Xbox One and make sure that what it's presenting to the consumer is actually worth it to them. With 6 teraflops of computing power behind it, super fast load times, and 4K gaming, you would think this was the ultimate gaming machine. But there's a lot of reasons why I'm extremely hesitant to jump on board this ship, and why I actually think it might be sinking before it even sets sail. For one, it's going to be backwards compatible with every Xbox One game that's ever been created in the past, which is forcing developers to make sure that their games run on the older Xbox Ones, which is great for people who already own an Xbox One, but at the same time doesn't really present them with much of a reason to upgrade to the new system unless you want faster loading times, or you have a 4K TV and want a little bit better graphics on it. And not only will all these games work on every Xbox One that's already come out, but Microsoft is also saying that every single game will also come out on Microsoft Windows for your PC. So if you already have a gaming rig, there's really no reason to upgrade to the Xbox One because you can get that experience on your computer already, and if you want a specific game, it will be available on your PC. So this video is going way beyond just the confusing names of Xbox One, Xbox One S, and the Xbox One X. Putting those terrible naming conventions aside, my real frustrations with this is I don't really see a reason why the majority of people out there would ever upgrade to it. Every argument that I've heard for getting one has a better counter argument as to why you should not get one. People say they want 4K gaming. I say, okay, get a PS4 Pro. It's $100 less and you get exclusive games from Sony on that console. And if you argue, well, there'll be exclusive games on Xbox as well, I say, yeah, there will be, like Forza 7, which is the only game that's been announced to come out this year that's going to be fully compatible with the Xbox One X. So if you want Forza 7 in 4K, which I'll admit looks absolutely incredible based off the press conference they had for it, you need to get the Xbox One X. Or actually, no, you don't. You just need a good gaming PC that can actually run in 4K. And while the Xbox One X comes in at the $500 price point, and a gaming rig that would actually play 4K at 60 frames per second would cost quite a bit more than that, you get a lot more with the PC as well. It's not just gaming that you use it for. So with my gaming rig, yes, I can play a game in 4K, and yes, it runs super fast and loads super fast, but I can also do a whole lot of other stuff on my PC. The definition of the term exclusive seems to have been lost along the way during all these press conferences, because Microsoft keeps saying these games are going to be exclusive to Xbox One, or launch exclusive to Xbox One.
Exclusive. World premiere.
Which is just a fancy way of saying of, this game is coming out first to Xbox One, or this game is only available on Xbox One and PCs. Take Crackdown 3 for example, which was a game that I was actually pretty excited about, and it's already been delayed until spring of next year, which is supremely frustrating for anyone who was actually interested in upgrading to the Xbox One X, because it would give them another reason to actually get one. The system needs more than one AAA title to sell it, and according to Michael Pachter, he said that he only expects them to sell about 1 million of these during the holiday season, which sounds like a good amount until you actually dig a little deeper and realize that Microsoft's only making around 1 million of these, and the supply is going to be quite limited because of that. And as far as initial sales of a system go, typically the first million sell out really fast these days. It's how's it going to do in the long run, and that's where my concern comes in for the Xbox One X. I don't see a value proposition for the consumer to spend $500 on a system that will do the same exact thing as Xbox One and Xbox One S already do, with, in the grand scheme of things, minor improvements. For me personally, I have an Xbox One. I haven't upgraded to the Xbox One S yet, because for me, the value proposition of the Xbox One was the Kinect and the voice commands for my TV. And when I heard the Xbox One S was coming out and had faster load times and upscaled graphics, I was all about getting one until I realized I had to pay for an extra adapter that costs like $80 just to be able to connect my Kinect to it. I was quite put off by the idea of doing that, so I never upgraded to the Xbox One S. And for my gaming purposes, the Xbox One does just fine. Microsoft seems to slowly be educating the consumers that they need to get a PC because that's the future of gaming. With a really powerful console that can do 4K, and all these games are going to be cross-platform compatible with the PC. And even more recently, at PAX West, they announced that they plan on implementing keyboard and mouse controls on the Xbox One platform so that these players can be competing with PC gamers at the same time, which is a good thing if you like PC controls but don't have a computer. But then if you like PC controls, you'd probably already have a computer. Well, you could say, Jeff, I want to play it on my 4K monitor. Well, get a computer that can do that. Why would you pay for a console to do that if you want keyboard and mouse controls? I don't understand that Microsoft is making this gigantic leap. People who play console games want to make it like a PC. If they wanted to, they would own the PC already. And while Microsoft seems to not be able to stop talking about the incredible power behind the Xbox One X, I have to say, at what point does it stop? It's at 6 teraflops of computing power right now. How much computing power do you need in your game console to have fun playing your game? The PS4 Pro has 4.2 teraflops of computing power behind it, and to be honest, the naked eye has a really hard time being able to distinguish between upscaled 4K and true 4K gaming. The frame rates typically are consistent around 60 frames per second, but again, I have a hard time comprehending that there's enough people out there to justify a $500 purchase for this brand new Xbox One X console that literally plays these same exact games that the Xbox One and Xbox One S and PC already play. There are no exclusive titles for the Xbox One X, which to me is crazy from Microsoft's standpoint to not make exclusive games for that. Maybe they'll walk back that decision after it's been out for a while and they notice they're having a little bit of trouble selling it. Maybe they'll say, hey, we're actually going to do this exclusive Xbox One X game for the Microsoft Xbox One X so that maybe more people will buy it. But again, I really don't know if that's going to justify the purchase. I'm quite happy with my original Xbox One, my PS4, and my Nintendo Switch, and my gaming rig. I have a hard time believing that people will be upgrading to an Xbox One X instead of buying a gaming PC at this point. There's literally no difference between the two, except for if you buy the Microsoft Xbox One X, it limits what you can do with it. You can mark my words right now, 2 months before the release of this system, that if Microsoft does not change their outlook as far as a business perspective on how they're approaching the Xbox One X and how they're trying to sell it to the consumer, this thing is dead on arrival and will not be a success.